It's the 10th anniversary of the MotoAmerica AMA FAM North American Road Race Championship. Our third round of 9 for 2024 from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It's MotoAmerica Superbikes at Road America. And it's Junior Cup race number 2 on deck as the riders are ready to go under what is a much different day than it was yesterday because the track is dry. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, yesterday's race was very interesting because of those conditions.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a perfect Friday here, wasn't it? Nice and dry. Everybody got good track time. 7 minutes they got yesterday. Once it started to rain, the Junior Cup guys got 7 minutes to go out and test it out. And you can see here, Isaac Woodworth rode so well yesterday, Greg, along with Avery Dreyer and Matt Chapin, who we saw win in Atlanta, our opening race for the 95. This was going to be some sweet redemption, even though it came this way. Dreyer goes into Canada corner and actually hits his body up against Isaac Woodworth. As you see, Isaac got up. He did end up 5th, but it was all about the Barkon team yesterday, Greg. They did a great job with Chapin winning and Eli Block finishing 2nd.
Yeah, a beautiful celebration for that team. And boy, in these conditions, half of it is survival and the second half is the big win. So Matthew Chapin gets it done in his 2nd career win. But what about this young racer? Ella Dreyer gets her first podium yesterday, the 7th different racer to stand on the podium. Can she get it done in the dry today?
You see the grid is set here at Road America as we will continue the coverage here on MotoAmerica Live Plus as these riders are now getting set for their warm-up lap, Roger.
Yeah, and right now the track conditions is, you know, we've mentioned a lot yesterday how wet it was. Avery Dreyer there. Going to be a big race for him. The year hasn't gone the way he's wanted, and today with the drafting. And last year it seemed like he was always able to put himself in the right spot, and it's going to be interesting to see how these young riders drafting comes into play so much here. How their race strategy plays out, the ones that are going to be patient and push toward the end, and just you know, it's hard to break away here. Every time a rider's in the lead in turn 5, he's probably going to try to break away through that infield part of the track, but it's going to be really difficult.
One of the riders to certainly keep an eye on is our pole sitter, Jaden Fernandez, who was not able to make the siding lap yesterday, had to start the race from pit lane, but was still able, despite the conditions, to ride all the way up to a 6th place finish.
Yeah, and great ride by him to have to start there and go out and not make another mistake and just put the laps in and end up getting 6th and getting some really good valuable points. And being on pole position in his interview, you could tell how confident he was. He led the warm-up this morning as well. So this definitely, everything is clicking for him this weekend. And but as he said on the race, before the race, he knows it's long and he knows there's a lot of drafting, and he's just got to wait and see how it plays out.
Matthew Chapin, the number 95 that you just saw before Avery Dreyer there, he was able to win the race yesterday, and now with conditions as different as they are, and he has that front row starting spot, his best of the season so far. He certainly is in prime real estate to be able to get another victory on the season. He's already been able to win twice this year, 2 times on the podium as well.
Yeah, and for him, just the confidence that he has right now going in after winning the first round and then coming here winning again. Yesterday, even in wet conditions, he's going to be in prime spot to be there on the front row, to be in that draft. He's a little guy. That's going to help.
Avery Dreyer with that number 1 plate in defense of his Junior Cup championship, still looking to have a good, solid result for Avery. It's another great opportunity today. We're going to step aside, send it back over to Greg and Jason.
MotoAmerica Junior Cup coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Well, there's cloud cover, but the sun is omnipresent as we take a look at how they ended up qualifying. Fernandez, Dreyer, and Chapin on the front row.
Then we have our points leader, Medina, Batty, and Ella Dreyer, podium finisher yesterday on the 2nd row with Block, Woodworth, Cunnison, Wolf, Juliana Fernandez, and Solly Mervis, Carson King, Gabriela Lewis, Andrew Way, JT Rivera, Ryan Barber, and Hollingsworth. And then just on the back there, James Williams and Gendron are going to round out our field grade. 21 riders total, and completely different day than yesterday. So can definitely expect a drafting war. Get a good look at number 1, Avery Dreyer. Greg, 60-some points back right now, so he's got to start getting some good points finishes together. Needs some wins.
Incredible they got that bike back together overnight in the Bad Boys Racing team. And there's Ella Dreyer coming off of that third-place podium. And she said in the winner's circle, unexpected, but she's also fast in the drive. Here we go. 7 laps scheduled, and we're away racing. And it's a drag race down the hill to turn number 1. And it looks like the 13 of Fernandez might be leading us that way, but the number 1 closely tucked. With the speed of these motorcycles, there's going to be a pass early on. It is going to be the 13, Jaden Fernandez. Fernandez Racing Ninja 400 will take us down towards turn number 3.
He's had some pace this weekend, and in the dry specifically, he's had some really good pace, has Jaden. So we'll see there. He's got Dreyer right behind him.
And a pair of Barkon bikes.
Yeah, it is. Chapin and Eli Block, you can see them in the draft as well. So this is where, right now, Greg, you're going to get to see who the real front runners are. This draft around Road America, even if you're a couple seconds off the pace, you can expect to see some kids that were maybe on the 3rd or 4th row still be able to keep up with this lead group.
How do you like 7 wide going down into turn number 5? All kinds of lines available for that one. And it's going to be the number 1 who takes over the top spot. And it looks like trying to go up the inside is the
Eli Block.
Yeah, Eli Block on the 92.
Yep, you can tell by the black numbers on the front of Eli Block. It's a little easier to see than Matthew's numbers. So Matthew right now, I think is Chapin, that is I think back there in 5th. You see him just behind Isaac Woodworth, who came from, Greg, he came from 3rd row. So again, it's another good start for Isaac. And as it looks like it might have been Juliana that got out a little bit wide there coming out of turn 8. Eli Block goes to the front. So Eli Block goes past Dreyer as they head down into the carousel. And Jaden Fernandez just pushed back to 3rd. But it's kind of what you're going to be able to expect in this race. There's going to be a lot of dicing up at the front and a lot of draft work.
Ooh, Woodworth 27 getting a little out of shape heading into the chicane. No drama there, but the bike was moving around quite a bit.
He's got to feel like this place owes him one after yesterday. He led all of the race pretty much in the rain, and for the most part. And when Dreyer had that little mishap coming down where they're getting down into Canada corners, you see Chapin got a double bike draft. He should be 3rd maybe by the time they get to the chicane. But Woodworth does a good job. He's going to go up underneath, try to go underneath Block, didn't quite make it. So Chapin just fell back in line there in 5th as well. And now Jaden finds himself back at the front again.
In 6th place is number 22. That's Ella Dreyer, so she's in the mix in this lead draft. It's this last section, Jay, that's so critical in Junior Cup to make sure that you stay within striking distance as you come onto this front straightaway and then allow that drafting and passing maneuver. So what do we got? 7? Yeah, including Ella.
10 riders, I should say, right?
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Ella's right there in that group.
71
so
Levy Batty also
22.
in the mix. So Levy Batty on the Carnes Performance Racing bike.
Logan Cunnison's in this group.
And then there's the 39 of Yandel Medina as he's closing the gap. And we get another pass for the lead. And looks like Isaac Woodworth goes to the front as we welcome the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Hannah Lopa, to the broadcast.
These guys just came down the front straightaway here passing me, and I don't think you realize how close together they are. I know you can see it on the screen, but in person, it's truly, I mean, they can reach out and touch each other. Draft is going to be king here for the Junior Cup riders. All of them that I spoke to said as much. We saw Avery Dreyer draft from like 5th or 7th back for the win last year, and a lot of them kind of mentioned that, including his sister, Ella Dreyer. She said she loves this track specifically because she's really learning how to utilize that draft. She's been working really closely with Dale Quarterly, and that's what has also allowed her to make a huge step up in her program. Someone like Levy Batty, however, doesn't appreciate the fact that the draft is king here because of his bigger stature. It makes it a lot harder for him to utilize that, so he's really got to use his racecraft instead.
Another lead change. Thank you, Hannah.
I mean, it's great. You had that time through. You had 11 riders in the lead draft. Solly Mervis is 12th. He was 1.7 back, and you can see what this does. He has now creeped into the back of that lead group. And because there's going to be so much Jocelyn and Dyson, we had, 7 or 8 riders almost side by side going down into turn number 5. So now you see this group starting to split just a little bit. You can see, 5 riders just trying to creep away. But the last, and Ella, it's gone through there. So that's great because when she came through, she was 8th. So she's up to 5th now. She sees her brother a couple spots in front. And of course, Levy Batty there on the 71, who Hannah was just talking about. So it's hard to keep up with everybody that just keeps on moving through the pack. So there's a little group behind this group now. So you got 8 riders that have kind of separated themselves, and then you got the next group of 4 back there coming forward.
Yeah, Chapin leads the way. Barcon Racing bike trying to make a break, but you just can't do it. So just like that, 5 broke away, and then the 3 caught up to him, and we have that long front straightaway coming again. And that's when we're going to take a look too at Levy Batty and see the hole in the air that he punches. So here we go onto that front straightaway.
Oh, getting out just over the curbing onto that concrete out there always makes me nervous, because there's usually a lip on those curbings sometimes, and with a smaller front tires and things, smaller bikes not being as heavy, also it could catch that curbing and get you down. So now you've got, looking at the lap times, Greg, around 2:42s. I mean, really, our first 16 riders, Greg, are about 8 seconds apart now, but they've just got big packs.
So Levy Batty, the number 71, he didn't get past, but he wasn't able to get around Matthew Chapin either in the draft. Chapin, a much smaller stature rider, and you can kind of see where they sit on those motorcycles. I'm talking about the front 2. Ella Dreyer back there in 6th place, trying to get a draft off her brother.
Yeah.
17-year-old versus the 14-year-old, the 1 and the 22, the teammates on the Bad Boys Racing. And as we have a position change for second, is there going to be one for 5th place back there? As down into turn 5 they go. 95 still leads. But that's Logan Cunnison on the 58, Speed Demon Racing out of Gilbert, Arizona, who moves himself up into 2nd spot. Cunnison, of course, 2 race wins to his credit so far this season. And then a pair of 4th place finishes as well as a DNF in the 2nd round of the championship.
Chapin looks really comfortable up in the front, and Cunnison came across the line in 6th, so to see him slide his way up there into that 2nd spot is good. Batty has a lot of racecraft. Eli Block as well. So it's good when you have a teammate in the class, because you guys can kind of work with each other, just like those 2 there, brother, sister, as you've mentioned, Greg, both Avery and Ella. They can kind of work together. You see Matthew Wolf, also another podium finisher that we saw in Atlanta, so he's also right in this big mix.
Aggressive move
Ryan
by
Wolf. Sorry, Ryan Wolf.
Ryan Wolf. Aggressive move by Batty into the chicane to take over 2nd spot again. We haven't had a lead change, though, in almost a lap. How unusual.
Yeah, Chapin's got some pace up at the front, and I think he's a little smaller than most of the guys behind. So Levy Batty trying to get himself into 2nd. He works his way underneath Cunnison as they go down into Canada corner. Eli Block still sitting there.
Ooh, a little mix up in the back, too. Ryan Wolf lost the position to Ella Dreyer and Avery Dreyer as well. So something went on in the back section there, and that's created also just a tiny bit of a gap. So we'll see if the 22, who's leading now the 2nd group, is able to lead this group and pull them up and close this gap to make it 9 again up front. But is there going to be a lead change? It looks like the 58 of Cunnison is trying to find a draft around Levy Batty. That's no problem, but it's the tiny in stature Matthew Chapin who's really holding on. He's got such a good tuck behind that bubble and looks so steady, and his bike looks really stable as well, that nobody's able to do anything with him right now, Jay. They're going to have to start thinking about this with 4 laps to go.
4 laps to go, and looking at the top speeds right now, somewhere between 110, 115 are most of these bikes, and you can see Levy Batty is pulled up alongside now. Again, you don't want to play your hands too early here either, Greg. And we do have some kids that have been in this class a while. So, what is there, 8 up in the front lead group right now?
9 right now.
9,
so
okay.
9 riders in the lead group. Matthew Chapin, the number 95, continues to lead the way as they head down into turn number 5. Wow, Jay. Levy Batty trying to find some room as Ella Dreyer has moved her way up into 4th spot. Wolf, that nice kit just behind her. The number 1 plate starting to drift back in the pack.
Two teammates at the front now, though, huh?
Yeah, two teammates at the front.
Exactly how they finished yesterday in the wet. Now those Barcom bikes are shining up on the front here in the dry. Batty's going to want to try to do something with Eli, I'm sure, and then that's really where it's all going to start to happen. Is once you get up underneath somebody here, the next person's got to take advantage right away. The fastest person on the track that last time through was Jaden Fernandez in 9th place.
Wow.
Went 40.4. The leaders were at 41.8. So that's what the draft can do for you.
Talking about 2-minute and 40-second lap times. Extremely fast. This race pace continues to heat up. And there's another lead change. So our 7th so far of the race. And the 92 goes back up front. Eli Block out of Middlefield, Connecticut, getting the job done. And for his teammate Chapin, he thought he had this thing under control for a lap and a half. And finally we see something, and Chapin goes right back to the spot.
Yeah, he's got some acceleration. And again, I think Eli's a little bit bigger than Chapin at the front here. Just looking back there, I was looking to see, it looked like Fernandez was trying to make a move. And Cunnison as well. You can see those two just in the back there. And then Isaac Woodworth too is trying to stay on there. And I think that's Avery with him just behind Isaac back there. So they're kind of glued together. The top 9 riders here at the front. Behind you have your points leader in 10th, Greg. So this is going to have some pretty big points paying ramifications too, as Ella Dreyer now gets herself into second. Let's see if she can draft up and past Chapin and lead her first race ever here in the MotoAmerica paddock.
Ella Dreyer in the draft on the front straightaway as they head into turn number 1. Matthew Chapin has been outstanding on the brakes, though, heading into this corner, as Ella Dreyer trying to go up the inside and find some room. Just a quarter of a bike length between them. Another passing opportunity coming up down into turn number 3. And it's going to be Chapin who continues to hold on to this race. Let's see, we got another straightaway. Dreyer's in the good. It almost looks like Ella's a little taller than Chapin.
Yeah, no, but I was down there earlier and saw some of the riders. You could definitely tell that that Matthews, he's got perfect stature for this bike. And look at everybody just trying to draft him down that straightaway.
Ooh, Levy Batty in the grass.
Almost in the grass there.
Yikes.
Sketch.
So Batty trying to go up the inside was using a double draft, and he's able to shuffle Ella Dreyer back to 4th place. Now you can see in the back of that group too, a couple of riders communicating with each other, talking about how they're trying to stay with this group and work their way up through the field. Two and a half laps to go. Matthew Chapin still leads the way. 58, Logan Cunnison in the mix. 71, Levy Batty. Number 22, Ella Dreyer, who was up to 2nd place. Wow, you start to see some stuff dragging, Jay, on the track.
Smoke there.
It looked like it was
on tires too. And
Ryan Wolf maybe was dragging something. He's got so much lean angle. Might be titanium toe sliders too.
It was Isaac Woodworth was communicating with Avery Dreyer when they came out of turn 5. That's what you saw. So, you know, they're kind of maybe just trying to keep their noses clean for a minute.
On the brakes into the chicane, Ella Dreyer goes by the 71 Levy Batty. A nice aggressive move from Ella Dreyer to go back into 3rd spot. Look at this lead pack. Let's check in with Hannah.
Well, our 2021 Junior Cup champ, Ty Scott, is down here on the pit lane, and I asked him, if you were out there right now, where do you want to position yourself for the final lap? And he said, 5-second gap. And I said, no, seriously. He said probably 2nd to try and draft across the line, and that's pretty much the consensus with most of the riders as well. They said it's kind of counterintuitive not to want to lead that last lap.
Yeah, but the thing too is, like, if you're the 71 Levy Batty who's trying to go up the inside of Ella Dreyer for 3rd spot and can't get it done, I think for Levy Batty with his size at this point, I mean, he's in a really difficult position, because I don't think the 71 has got necessarily enough draft to be able to get by anybody at the line, as you see right here.
They're going to want to start to try to do something with Chapin somewhere else in the lap to try to get him further back in this pack. But that said, I think if Matthew gets shuffled back,
there he goes.
Batty goes through. So there you go. Batty goes through. And but I think Chapin, he's got the bike underneath him, where if you get 2 or 3 riders in front, there's a look at Ty Scott watching this race. But if he gets back there in 3rd, 4th, 5th, I think if he can get any kind of clean run, Chapin can get himself back up to the front, which you've already seen him do anyways, Greg. So he's really dictating the pace here, the 95 up in the front of this group.
All the while, eyes on the 22 of Ella Dreyer, 14 years old. She just turned 14 late February and is a rookie to this class. So you have to think about the learning curve the 22 has, getting roughed up with the rest of this group, and she's hanging on and doing a great job.
But you can see Matthew, he's good on the brakes at the end. It's going to be hard to kind of duff him up a little bit and get up underneath him. So that's what these guys got to try to do. I think Batty will be the guy that will try to do that maybe down here into turn 8 as well, or down into the chicane. But like I said, Chapin's really good on the brakes.
So here we go into the chicane, a passing opportunity, and it is processional for the top 6 anyway. As they start to break
away a little bit, haven't they? From Dreyer, who's back there? Greg Dreyer, I think Wolf's back there, and Woodworth are just off the back of this lead group now. So the pace has really stepped up for the front 6.
And look at Batty trying to go around the outside of Chapin. Was carrying tremendous corner speed, but Chapin just kind of closed the door. Here comes Batty a little sideways, and he'll take over the spot. So a good run for the Carnes Performance Ninja 400 racer, Levi Batty, the Belgian. Hey, Jay, you're going to Belgium next week to run the 8-hour Spa.
Yeah.
Maybe you should talk to Batty about it.
He probably got some laps around there, hopefully. So,
but that was a good move. But Chapin is playing this perfectly.
No, he's proven to these guys that he's got the bike underneath him and the racecraft to know how to get back to the front. And you know, Greg, when you have Yandel Medina right now back there in 10th, and you look at where Chapin is in the points, I believe he's 2nd. This is a big point haul for Chapin here. If he can manage to figure out a way to, you know, he's going to have 1 lap this next time by. White flag's going to be out as they crest the top of this hill in a minute. If he finds himself in this spot, it's a big gap between 1st and 10th. 25 to win, 10th would get you 6 points. So
and the 58, Jason, Logan Cunnison is 2nd.
There.
He's 7. He's only 4 points behind Chapin in this championship, so he's going to be desperate to put the 95 behind him as well. And now look at the 13 back in the picture, Jay. So just like that, Jaden Fernandez, our early race leader, is in the mix.
Dreyer?
And Avery Dreyer going up the inside of everybody
and
pushing people wide.
Like all 3 of those riders were a little far back. Wolf was back there. Remember when we were going through the carousel half a lap ago? There was a gap.
And look at Ella Dreyer. She goes all the way to the back of the pack. Just like that. And we still have 3/4 of a lap to go here.
But wow, what a ride for Avery Dreyer, showing why he's got that big number 1 on the front of his bike. As he drafts himself into 2nd, he's going to want to be the one. Oh man, he's going to get shuffled back to maybe 5th though by the time they come out of turn 5. Let's see how far back, or if Avery can hold on to any positions, Greg. I mean, he's going to be, like I said, he's now 5th. And there's contact made between Dreyer and Ryan Wolf in turn 5.
And Wolf goes down, and he's out of this race, and obviously frustrated. But also, look at the job that Chapin is doing right now to gap the rest of this field. It's almost like the Barkon Racing rider had something left in the tank, and he's trying to pull the pin.
He is. You're not.
And no Ella Dreyer either. Ella Dreyer's down after a great performance. So we've gone 9, Jay, down to 5. So there's the 22. So she's out of this one.
Looks like turn 5 or turn 6 there as well. So too bad for Ella, but now we've got these top 6. And so far, the guy, look at, that's really good racecraft from Chapin. He's going to get in there tight. So his drive might be a little bit sacrificed, but he wasn't going to let anybody go underneath him there, was he, Greg?
No, he wasn't.
And he knows he's got it. He didn't get a best drive out of there. You see Batty did a really nice job. They're going to try to do something with him when they get down to Canada Corner.
I'm looking at Logan Cunnison in 3rd place because Batty can punch a big hole in the air. So this might be a really good spot for the 58 Cunnison. We'll see how it goes. Down into Canada Corner they go. Now only a few corners left to go. And boy, Chapin just keeps gapping this field.
Yeah, that bike, it's got some power underneath him, and he did a good job. And I don't think, I don't think that anybody's going to be able to draft up back past him. As you see, Avery now is going to try to make a move on Cunnison. You have Jaden Fernandez back there as well, but we'll see if they're able to draw themselves up to the back of Chapin as they make that final run, Greg, out of the last corner.
And Matthew Chapin has done all the work, and the riders behind trying to draft. They come up to the top of the hill, and the checkered flag awaits the number 95. It is Chapin who's going to take victory over Logan Cunnison. Jaden Fernandez able to get up to 3rd place around Levi Batty. Dreyer in 5th. Woodworth in 6th. Solly Mervis able to finish in 7th ahead of Carson King. Yandel Medina back in 9th place. And we are going to have a flippity-floppity thing with the championship points. Can't wait to find out how that goes. But how about Chapin? For Chapin this season, 3rd win of the year, and the only time that Chapin's been on the podium has been with the W. And this is how big of a gap 0.3 of a second looks like when you're racing a Junior Cup bike here in MotoAmerica.
Wow.
What a race.
What a race. Never disappoints here, does it? It literally never disappoints. And
some heartbreaks back in the field for Ella Dreyer, Eli Block, another one, Ryan Wolf as well, that were all running up in that front pack.
Yeah.
Last lap drama for those riders.
Yeah, Eli Block just came through on our screen in 17th, Greg. So I didn't actually see 338. Didn't see what happened to him there.
We'll have more from Chapin when we get back to Road America.
With the live coverage here on MotoAmerica Live Plus. And Roger, we were expecting to see the draft being used to get it to the line, but Matthew Chapin just had enough to hold everybody off.
Yeah, he was just riding awesome, and for Matt, just everywhere, just seemed really strong. He's a little guy as well, and that definitely helps, but he was just not making mistakes. On the brakes, he was so strong on the brakes. Those guys could not outbrake him. And that last lap, he did what he needed to do. He put himself in the front. The other guys were jockeying for position to try to get behind him to come out of that last corner, and he put in a last lap that kind of broke that draft. So he did a great job. And talk about each year which kid's going to step up, which kid's going to be the one that, their racecraft, and they start to figure it out. And I think you have to say Matthew is doing that, and then also Logan Cunnison as well, another kid that put himself in the right spot. And Jaden Fernandez, awesome podium for him. He actually lost that draft early on in that race and had to fight back down and able to close that gap. But Matthew was just strong. He was the strongest rider in that group, and just looks awesome on the bike. And whenever he wanted to take the lead, it looked like he could anytime he wanted.
While we watch Matthew Chapin coming around on this cool down lap, I want to show you this graphic. This is part of the new timing and scoring package for this season. And what this is comparing here is Matthew Chapin to the second place finisher of Logan Cunnison. And you can see how they had two very different races that were going on. Matthew Chapin didn't have to work too hard to make all of those moves. Meanwhile, Logan Cunnison, he gained 7 positions. He had 12 overtaking maneuvers that he had to put into effect, 37 battles that he was a part of today. So very different races, but this is just some of the information that you're able to get on the timing and scoring tab of the MotoAmerica Live Plus app. And it's really cool to be able to pull up all of these different riders and compare them together, and you can really learn about the nuances of each of them.
Yeah, and you've seen the battle success rate and the winner, 81%. I mean, if you're going to win 81% of the battles with your competitors during the race at different points of during the race, you're going to come out on top. And for him now, just should have the points lead now possibly, or really going to be a lot close.
Yeah, the 25 points gained today, and Yandel Medina, who was leading the points coming into the race, not being up there to gain those points, it's going to really shuffle things around.
Yeah, and Yandel, not sure what happened. He was just a couple seconds off that lead group and fell back a little bit more. A couple guys crashing on the last lap is going to help Yandel Medina because he's going to move up a couple spots to get a couple more points.
Yeah, he was able to finish 9th, so he definitely earned some points today, but just further back than what we've seen from him so far. We saw all of the riders before we went to that graphic doing burnouts in the turn 5 area. That's a rule change that went into effect this season, that there's only one particular spot at each of the racetracks where riders are allowed to go and do burnouts.
Yeah, used to you could get a fine if you didn't do it in the right spot, and that's awesome for those kids to go down there. And they've been watching all these guys do burnouts after races their whole life, and now they get the opportunity to, it's off the track, so you don't have to worry about another competitor after the race to come through and able to do a burnout. And it's pretty funny watching these kids start trying to figure out how to do that burnout, and if Matt keeps winning, he's going to figure it out.
He'll figure it out pretty fast. I also love the part in the rule book that's in the red letters, meaning that it's new for this year, that the riders are also responsible for any damage they put onto the racing surface as well. You see everybody down over in the podium area getting ready to celebrate You see the fans that are around the barriers there also. If you're here at Road America, a reminder, your ticket to get into Road America also gets you down into the paddock, and you can go over to the podium. It's open at each of the rounds. You can go down, celebrate, and take some photos and watch as these riders make their way in. For the young riders, the debrief starting as soon as they get in there. We're going to hear from these riders. I saw Hannah Lopa in the picture. We're going to send it back over to Greg and Jason. You can celebrate.
MotoAmerica Junior Cup coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Celebrations in winner's circle. Going to Matthew Chapin, Barcon Racing, and that whole team. What a performance he was able to put on. I mean, he got passed a couple times. I mean, Jay, there were 12 lead changes in that race, but it just looked like Matthew Chapin was in control. Gunnison and Fernandez, your early race leader. Levy Batty, and a hard-fought battle in fourth, and Avery Dreyer in fifth. Let's get right down to Hannah, who has our winner.
Third win of the season for Matthew Chapin. Matthew, you were able to gap the field and actually lead it on that last lap across the line. Was that something you had planned to do? Did you know you had the bike to do it, or was it a game time decision?
Yeah, my bike has been really fast all weekend, so I knew if I got out front and kind of broke the draft, I knew I could pull away, and that's what I did, and I rode a consistent race, and yeah, it was a good race.
Is there anybody you want to thank today?
Yeah, I'd like to thank KYT, Bison, K-Tech, the whole Bartcon Racing team, Colin, my mom, my dad, Tim, Connie, Chuck, OG Media, and everybody else in my corner. Thank you guys.
Big congratulations to Matthew Chapin, who did the double here this weekend. Logan Cunnison back on the podium. It was quite the race for you, but you were able to pull off the podium on that last lap there. Take us through your strategy.
I just wanted the Casey's assistant. Had to come gearing issue again. I just wanted to draft Matthew at the line, but his bike was super fast this weekend. But I just want to thank everyone, KYT, my mom, everyone, the whole Ready Ride crew, Historic GP, everyone else out here.
Logan Cunnison, your second place finisher, and Jaden Fernandez rounding out your Junior Cup podium, his first podium appearance of the season. You were really strong showing all weekend long. What was it that allowed you to be so consistent?
I mean, I just tried my best, and it just happened. I was looking forward to the race, finally starting on pole, and I got shuffled back a little bit and got a little nervous, but I just worked my way back through the pack and somehow pulled off a third. I want to thank everyone that's been helping me out, Warriors in Need, Back to Movement, Jimmy Westover, American Super Camp, Michael Carter, Inspection Specialties, Motor Suspension, really everyone that's been helping me out, and I'm looking forward to next round.
Big congratulations to Jaden Fernandez, guys.
Well, Jay, you want to talk about the competitiveness of this Junior Cup category. We've had 6 races so far, and 8 different. Fernandez is the 8th different person to stand on a podium, and 3 race winners.
And you got to think there's going to be some more. I mean, there's got some kids that are knocking on the door of getting on the podium. So come to Brainerd. We'll have another big draft fest there at Brainerd.
Yeah, we will.
And we'll see some, maybe we'll see even more new faces. But right now, big points haul for this young man today. He did a really good job. You heard him say he felt like he had the bike underneath him, and he did.
As now they get to go step up on the podium, 3-2-1, to celebrate their race. And what a wild race it was. 9 riders all going to the flag, we thought anyway, on the last lap, and it ended up being 6. So let's take a look at those championship standings, JP, because this is what I'm interested in. Chapin now with the lead over Cunnison by 9. Yandel Medina goes from first, had 3 points at the beginning of this race, now slides to third, with Eli Block and Woodworth and Wolf right there in the mix.
Yeah, long season still. And you know, when we lose some of the riders that we lost on the last lap, you don't want to say expect it, but when you have 9 people all fighting for the same spots, so we know Ella will be back, we know Ryan will be back, and we'll see them. And of course, Eli Block as well. We'll see all 3 of them back at Brainerd up at the front.
What a race we had in Junior Cup race number 2 here at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We certainly hope you enjoyed it. For Hannah and Jason, I'm Greg. We're going to see you in a week and a half from Brainerd International Raceway.